Hi, I'm going to talk about synthesizers in this video and how we can use them to replicate any sound or make original sounds. So to begin with, we need to know a few qualities about sound. There are a few defining characteristics and qualities which are physically measurable from a sound that we need to know about. The first thing that we're going to talk about is frequency. Now, frequency is the number of wavelengths per second. A higher frequency will give you a higher pitch sound, and a lower frequency will give you a lower pitch sound. That's very crucial in sound design and in synthesis. You need to know what sort of frequency range you want to go for. For example, the middle C in general is around 262 Hertz. But that's not enough for us, because we know that the middle C in a piano and a middle C in a trumpet, for example, have the same frequency. But even if they are played in the same amplitude or loudness, we can still easily tell the distinction. The thing we're going to talk about is the envelope. The envelope of a sound is usually of the form ADSR, attack, decay, sustain, and release. Attack is how quickly a sound reaches maximum amplitude. Decay is how quickly it goes from maximum amplitude to minimum amplitude. Sustain is how long the sound is held for, and the release is the after effect. It's like as if you placed the sound in a virtual room and you had all those reflections coming back off the room. There are three types of synthesis: subtractive, additive, and FM, which stands for frequency modulation. Subtractive synthesis is where you start with a rich, full sound and use various tools to subtract the unwanted frequencies in the sound. Additive is the opposite. You start with very simple sounds. For example, you start with 2 to 3 different sound waves and you add those in the ratio that you want. But the one I'm going to demonstrate for you today is FM, or frequency modulation synthesis, where you start with one waveform and use another waveform not to create a sound, but to oscillate the first waveform. Let's take a bell sound, for instance. We know that bell sounds are usually of a relatively high frequency. They have a very short, almost no attack, and almost no sustain as well, and they have a very fast decay. So if we start with a simple square wave, that's the sound we get. Now I'm going to start slowly bringing the decay down so that you hear the effect. Already sounding a lot more like a bell sound. Next, what we're going to do is take another oscillator, another waveform, a sine wave this time, but we're not going to actually get any sound in the output channel from that sine wave. We're going to route that to the first oscillator that we had in order to oscillate the sound that's coming out of that oscillator, and that's going to sound a little bit like this. And there you have it, that's a bell sound.